right? Like I play carrier group. So do I want two prime axioms or one prime axiom and two TEPs? Right? Like it's real easy math on a lot of this stuff.
Absolutely.
I think with my father list. Oh, that's the one. I'm trying to make Dad work with the prime axiom. I see everybody else do it, and I just can't do it. Rat 3 hurts me.
Yeah, that is difficult. He doesn't have synergy, right? It's Syntherian who has synergy?
Syntherian that has synergy. He's on the next ADR. And,
He's on ADR.
But I suspect I will be playing Syntherian, I'll play Syntherian Lucant for the next set.
Syntherian Lucant, eh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Lucant, I need to keep Lucant around for the purification and stuff like that.
Yep.
And I can set up Lucant as a troop spam high defense, like just I can tank through this shit and I can kill a lot of your troops guy, and then I can set up Syntherian as just a break armor, because Syntherian runs jacks like it's nobody's business, and they stay alive because they keep getting repaired every turn.
Well, that's exactly what I was thinking. That's kind of two casters that are really high armor.
Yeah.
Right? So I wondered if, picking one and then going with something a little different. If somebody brings Scar 1 30 Bane Knights.
Yeah, it's problematic.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I like having Mom with the two TEPs. It's just all the magical spray.
I think I played against you with that list, and theirs is a bunch of... It's a... surprising amount of sprays.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Yeah, surprising. It's a fucktard load of fucking sprays.
Hey, when you only have to hit like Def 10, Def 12 shit, you put one into boost, you put two into extra sprays, and you're dumping out like, it's boosted to hit, and I'm pumping out 4 sprays a turn.
Yeah,
like,
what's the damage on that? Is it?
It's just a pow.
10?
It's a pow 10, yeah.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, on a Bane Knight, you on average you kill it.
Yeah, exactly. So and I'll take average kill on a Bane Knight over boosted dice on a Bane Knight most times. It's usually when I have to crack armor on something that I tend to throw it all into the damage side.
Makes sense.
I do like the 2 and 1 and the 1 and 2. It's like, it's hard to hit infantry. It's 4 dice to hit, 3 dice for damage, or the other way around.
Right.
It's hard to kill. It's 3 dice to hit, 4 dice for damage.
Did you guys want me to turn my video on? I'm not sure.
Video would be nice.
Give it a try. Let's see if it fucks up your audio.
What's your login
for Twitch?
Yeah.
Meets of Evil. Oh, sorry. The name is PG Semi Auto Magic.
I'm not sure if I hit the button. I'm not sure if it's coming.
Yeah, you're in.
But I can't see you, so that's the.
Well, you know what what you will see is our. Well, can you see the studio?
Or can you see the camera in the?
No, I see Will making a funny face in this picture.
Oh,
it's turning.
There you go. This is what you get to see is the studio because you're in the middle of the frame, so.
Of course.
Yeah, you.
So not worth screwing up your bandwidth anymore to see
magic or whatever.
Yeah, no problem.
So instead, you get to see my awesome face.
In fact, as you start typing, it should
a Transat advertisement on the right. So.
Oh, ooh.
Actually, I'm going to Jamaica. I just had to pay for Jamaica in January. I just paid that this week, so it sucks.
Yeah.
Type your password in because we're streaming.
Friend of mine is getting married, so we're going
the classic reason I have to go to Jamaica, but I'm going to spend the whole time at a wedding.
Absolutely. Well, one day.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to Belize next week for work. So.
Right. Yeah. That's what George was saying.
Fun.
More kayaking and video cameras.
More kayaking.
I can never remember where the capitals are in that password. It could be in one set, could be in another set.
I can never remember where shit is. Display and brightness. There we go. Let's turn that down so I'm not burning out my... Because I only have 37%.
Oh no. Well, you know how to do that. You do the standard war room loadout. So you disable the... disable the Wi-Fi, disable the Bluetooth, and then you put the brightness down.
Right. Hey, I guess we should check to make sure we're streaming all right. We could probably use our phones to do that.
I got an email.
Tim's face is like totally disappearing.
What?
What?
Tim's face is disappearing.
Oh, because it's so blue.
Yeah.
Oh, it's blue?
You're keyed out.
So we've keyed you out. Let me. Is
that a little better?
Is he still keyed out?
Yeah, it's completely keyed out.
All right.
Oh, so it's just like a hole where his face is?
Hold on, I bet you I can fix this.
That's kind of awesome.
Oh, no.
Hello, tiny child.
Don't
Would you
worry.
like to hug the husband? Or the father, I guess, in this case?
You going to bed, sweetie? Good night.
I bet you we can
Yeah.
alter the
See you
color
in the
on
morning.
the screen.
Don't do drugs.
What, in the 5 minutes before she gets upstairs? I mean,
Exactly.
solid advice, but
You just never know.
This is interesting.
what?
Well, it doesn't just have some sort of mess with the color. Oh, the brightness is really low.
Oh,
It's not
wow.
bad.
I wonder if that's something on my side I gotta fix.
No, it's whatever light, probably from your monitor.
Yeah, I have my laptop in front of me, and then my PC on the other end, so might be the blue screen from that. I wonder if I have a light of some sort.
Hold on, I'm just gonna take all the blue out. See if that helps.
Is he still keying out?
No, he looks much better. There we go.
It's just kind of got this weird
It's,
effect.
he's got a vague Fagroshy glow.
Yes.
That's not a bad thing.
The art that is just there, man.
All right, we're 8 minutes out, ladies and gentlemen. 8 minutes out.
Make
For those,
sure your tray tables are in the upright position.
yeah, for those in the chat, get all of your questions, your hard, difficult, Crixie questions
ready.
ready.
Already.
So what am I going to get wrong with sprays today? What weird corner case do I not know about sprays? Even though you have Isle of Sight, they only go 3 inches into a forest. I know that one. What happens if you...
Sprays always go through forest. They ignore
No, they don't.
cover. Well, there you go.
They ignore cover and concealment.
So they
And
don't.
anything that blocks completely line of sight from you to the model.
I thought they ignored terrain
Nope.
stuff.
They do in a sense. You still need to target a model. So
Right.
if you cannot see the model 3 inches past the forest, then you can't target that. So you can't center it on that thing.
No, but even if you center it, from what I understand, it only penetrates 3 inches. The spray only
I don't think
penetrates 3
so,
inches.
George. I think we might have to look that up.
Stream? Anybody in the stream?
I hate to say this, but I'm gonna. I mean, you could very well be right. It's happened before,
George being right.
once or twice.
That was one of the weird corner cases. I'm not sure about the interaction between sprays and gunfighter though. What?
If you have a spray and gunfighter,
Yeah. So
It's-
what happens to the half-inch melee spray?
well, if it's similar to, because if you have a magical spray, let's say a Warwitch Siren,
Yeah.
you can still attack with the spray over a model with that you're engaged with or not engaged with because it's a spell. Right?
Yeah.
If it's something similar, I would assume that if you're within your half inch, well, no, because it's a spray.
It's
No,
a
yeah.
spray, and spray specifically state that anything that changes the range doesn't affect their range.
Yeah,
And
so I would
Gunfighter
assume
says
if
when you're within half an inch, you can make a ranged attack with or you can make an attack with your ranged weapon.
right.
So
then I
my
would think you can
assumption-
only target the one that you're engaged with.
Engaged with, but if you do happen to hit somebody in the background, you should be okay.
I think
right?
so.
I think that's the way that's going to work.
Does the TEP have gunfighter?
All right, here's the rule.
What?
Oh,
What's Tim's last name again?
Harvey?
Does the TEP have gunfighter?
No, it has weapons platform. It has the good one.
Even better.
all right, so here we go. A spray ranged or magic attack. Here we go. A model under the spray template cannot be hit by the attack if the attacker's line of sight is completely blocked by terrain.
Yeah.
And
There
you're
you go.
saying that the case is that doesn't get disqualified by eyeless sight.
Yeah, eyeless sight. Eyeless sight allows you to see the model irrespective of the normal rules.
Okay.
So, for example, you don't have line of sight to shoot a. Say you have a Angelius, and on the other side of a house is the person's Warcaster.
Right.
You cannot shoot that Warcaster with the Angelius, but you can charge it because it specifically says flight allows you to ignore terrain for purposes of making the charge. So you're not getting extra line of sight to it. It doesn't break the rules for that. It only breaks the rules for the other thing.
Right. So that's interesting because I know at least once I've been sprayed through a forest because people believed that they could just ignore everything when it came to a spray.
I feel like the only reason I have this piece of information is because it has bit me in the ass.
Well,
Because it's a really esoteric piece of information.
it also means that if you have a large base model blocking line of sight to a small base model behind it, sprays the
It
spray.
specifically says ignores models.
Oh, it ignores models. So it's terrain that it doesn't ignore.
Yeah.
That would be why. So that's probably why it's come up and most people misunderstand it because they're like, oh, I
Well-
don't have to worry about line of sight.
Well, I think it was probably to prevent you from spraying through a house, I would
yeah,
assume.
that's
Yes, that the
Yeah.
wording. I'm sure the wording is designed so you can't spray through houses, and I'm sure the forest thing is just sort of a side effect.
Yeah. If you spray into a forest and line of sight is blocked by the forest, the spray doesn't hit the targets that you don't have line of sight to.
Yeah.
There you go.
And-
It's Infernal ruling from 2012.
Now,
2010.
and nobody hears.
does it specifically call it eyeless sight? That's the only thing I'm wondering about.
Not this particular article
Okay.
or forum post. So
I know the spray normally works that way. It's the
Did I make it worse?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He looks like he's trapped in a TV. It's in this weird effect.
So it's going all Max Headroom on us. I like it.
it's all
We're gonna
Max
leave it.
Headroom.
We're gonna leave the Max Headroom effect.
am I still blue? Is that there? Am I still?
Well,
You're-
we're messing with brightnesses and stuff to try and.
Compensate, but now you look like Max Headroom. So we're just gonna go with it.
That's the
Perfect.
thing.
All right, what are we sitting on?
1 minute left. Do you want to do a quick test of the sound on the music? I didn't test the music, Jason. Nope, needs to come way up.
Yeah. Chances are that's this one.
Probably the farthest one. Oh yeah, I would just put it right up to the
Yeah. It's all
It really just needs to be pegged.
yeah.
Hey, and we'll be able to hear it this time instead of just relying
Just
on
relying on
him
Jason's,
to wave his hands in
Jason's
some weird
waggly
way.
Muppet arm.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, that moment you've been waiting for. That death clocky moment.
Dun,
Dun, dun, dun.
dun, dun, dun.
All right, hit it. Welcome to This Death Clock Has 60 Minutes, the explicit All Warma Hordes news podcast. It's 8 p.m. Wednesday night, and the Death Clock starts now. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Death Clock. I am one of your three hosts. I am the Myth Gorax. To my left over here is...
Semi-auto magic.
We bring him along because he has a wealth of knowledge due to his PGing and judging type of thing. And over running the boards is no one other than...
Maelstrom.
Maelstrom is there to answer your questions, to keep you entertained if you are watching us live. And if you send any questions in, he will make sure that we have it. Also, he is slowly becoming an expert on all things ever blighted.
Slowly.
So to kick off tonight's episode, we need to introduce our guest for this evening. We brought in a bit of a ringer. Because tonight what we're going to do is we're going to start on our series of like 30 podcasts, and of course we're just going to space them out over whenever forever. But tonight we're going to focus on Crix. We're going to learn about Crix. For those of you that aren't Crix players, we're going to learn how to beat Crix. Tim may try to misguide us by telling us lies, but mainly he's an honest bloke. We brought in Tim Harvey, who in our local area is one of the top Crix players that we know. Say hi, Tim.
Great. Hey, thanks for having me.
And thank you. Unfortunately, we were also supposed to have Oz on tonight because Oz has to put up with Tim beating him over the head with Crix every once in a while. So Oz has become a bit of an expert of all things how to beat Crix. Unfortunately, it's Oz's birthday, and he opted to celebrate his birthday instead of hang out with us.
I think a wise decision.
Probably a wise decision. I hear there's balloons, cake, and sody pop. Ooh. So before we get into the whole all things Crixness, let's talk a bit about some of the news from this week coming out of the one and only Privateer Press. Kicking it off with, we've seen a few new models. Some of them that we've seen before now have some paint on them. And we've seen some models that from way back in the past that are being resurrected. Tell us a bit about some of the teasers that were thrown out.
Well, we've got coming up this weekend, War Machine Weekend. And then Privateer Press is going to be there. And that always means models that are about to come out will be seen in the wild, usually in the case. Sometimes models that nobody thought we would ever see, or models that everybody is hoping to see. In this case, the blast from the past that every Kadoran has been waiting for is the Grolar has finally been seen.
Ooh, the Grolar.
Yes.
Yeah, and yeah, I think it's been proxied more than anything else because people have been waiting for a long time. Also, we saw some weird little Chef Gobber dude.
Yes.
Who we know zero about, but looks fucking awesome.
Well, he does have a little blurb that says basically this guy does something about Fury management. Every Thornfall player will want a minimum of one, and probably Circle and Gators also want them.
Well, I'm guessing he does something like chop up things and make soup. And finally, the last one was a weird throwback to somebody had some free time years ago and made a model.
Oh, well, I don't think it was years ago. I don't know whether it was last Lock and Load or the one before. Now, this is apocryphal. I was not at this event, but they were trying to show how quickly a model could be sculpted.
Right.
And apparently this particular sculptor who works for PP basically burned himself out over the weekend creating this sort of bog trog with a big, spike gun. And it was kind of here's an awesome model. We really should get some rules for this. And this is the first time we've seen it since then.
All right.
And unfortunately, I can't come up with the name for that model.
That's
but
all right.
We have heard the name spoiled.
Okay, so a couple of new models. War Machine Weekend coming up. Tim, what is exciting about War Machine Weekend to you?
War Machine Weekend is the big culmination event to a lot of qualifiers that happened throughout the year. There was the Southern Ontario Open had a qualifier, which the three of us were at. And, of course, you guys in Ottawa had one, Blood and Iron, back in September. So everybody who qualified for all of those events gets to come to St. Louis and play to see who is the best War Machine player in I'm going to call this the United States area.
Right. And so, yeah, it's pretty exciting. We know that some of the best players are going to be there. We know that Marc-Andre is going to be there because he
won at Blood and Iron.
Yeah, because he kicked all our asses.
Did kick mine.
Well, it was nice of us to be there to let him
give him that stepping
so
stone.
That he could finally get to go. So that's kind of the news. There's two other items that we're going to touch on. We've got a couple minutes. The first one I want to talk about is because there is going to be some. I'd like a little bit of ruckus debate about this one. Slowly over time, a lot of the metal models from our Full Metal Fantasy miniature role-playing game are being replaced by what some people will call plastic models, but as you've pointed out, they're not plastic. They're a combination of resin and plastic models. And I think there's a bit of controversy from my end anyway. There's good things and bad things for both. And this week they announced, I believe, 2 different units have been replaced by plastic.
Yeah, I know one of them was the Steelhead Halberdiers, I think.
And
also the Steelhead Cav, I believe is the other one.
Might be. And I thought there was some...
the Retribution units.
Units.
It's the Sentinels and the Invictors, the heavy armor ones.
So we're talking 4 separate units are being replaced. Now, they're good. Let's start with the good. So I'm going to say the one... Of course, primary thing that concerns us all is the price goes down.
Mm-hmm.
which is a big deal.
Now, that is generally not just because of the switch to plastic. In fact, the plastics tend to be close to the metal price, but it's much more a thing because they're going from min unit with blisters to full pack plus UA usually.
Right. So if you bought all of the stuff to make that unit, it's a hell of a lot more expensive.
Yes.
Tim and George, what else is good about? Let's start with Tim. Can you think of other good things about plastic or restic?
They're a little bit lighter, and so it's easy to take them with you to tournaments. And if they happen to fall off your tray, they're less likely to break than your metal models.
Yeah. Anything from you, George, that's great about plastics?
Well, I find them a lot easier to balance on things.
Yeah.
And this sounds so weird, but they tend, as far as I can tell, they tend to take paint better, which shouldn't be a thing because, you're washing and undercoating all your models anyway. But I don't know, plastic models that I have, the paint tends to chip less than the metals.
I wonder if it's because, and I agree with you, that is, I find that true as well, and I'm wondering if it's because of the natural thing with spray paint does a bit, no matter what you do, you can't take all the caustic chemicals out of spray paint, and maybe it just melts it onto the restic a bit better. I'm not sure. Maelstrom, over there, anything positive about plastics?
I'm going to echo George's the balancing thing.
Yeah.
Last 2 weeks ago, playing a game with Lilith 2, I spent 20 minutes trying to prop her up on the side of a hill. And it was a real pain in the ass.
Yeah, it sucks. That is the good. I'm going to go on the other side, and I'm going to say the bad. I think it kind of outweighs the other things. First off, I don't mind paying a little bit extra for metal, I find. And the first thing is from a fixing the mold line standpoint, in particular, metal is so much easier to fix and fix well. And metal models, consistently, I find, look better done than the plastic ones.
Now, do you think most of your experience, I'm going to say, is with War Machine and Hordes, correct?
Yeah.
So, do you feel that is because the new plastic models that get a re-release have a tendency to be a mold pulled from a metal master that has come out of another mold?
Could very well be, but I also find that it's just that trying to carve off the flashing on the plastic, generally because it's so soft, leads to you cutting into the plastic more often than just trimming away that little bit that you wanted to trim. Also, swords and spears bend and break.
Oh, yes.
And once a spear is broken, there ain't no fixing that bitch. You can't find a pin small enough. You end up having to actually trim the spear out, drill into the hand, drill into the spearhead, and build a new spear out of it.
No,
and that's not bueno either.
I will say, I have met very few people with original metal spears on a lot of things.
That's true too, because they always fall off.
They always break, they fall off. Everybody I know who has really nice spears that are all nice and straight have done exactly what you said.
Yeah.
Cut it off top and bottom and put in brass rods.
So I mean, there's an argument on both sides. I guess I like playing with metal miniatures. I like heavy weighted, but I do agree with you guys that there are benefits as well to the plastic. And to be honest, I'm not going to. I realize we're in a consumer-driven world. I'm not going to get mad over the plastics. I just, I try to run out and buy the metals. And when I hear plastic is coming and it's for a unit,
you tend to get the metals.
I'm going to run out and get some metal.
Now, what about? Have you actually had any experience with PP's new hard plastic?
I haven't yet.
To the resting?
I haven't yet, but you have.
Yeah, well, I've assembled a couple of TEPs, and they went together like a dream.
I've heard nothing but good things.
They were really good. What do you feel about going to a hard plastic?
Absolutely, as long as it can pick up the details in the smaller models well, which I'm not sure, because I haven't seen any small models done on the hard plastic.
No, that's something I haven't seen from PP either. Tim, what do you think about the switch over?
I tend to agree with Will that I have a unit of Bane Thralls in metal and plastic, and I feel that the plastic tends to seep into the detail. So, like, the little skulls are not as crisp on the plastic and the metal. And like Will, getting the metal ones before they turn into plastic is always a good thing. Maybe PP should think about because the molds are the same, maybe making 5 or 10% of their models in metal and plastic, so that
Call it the
people
Pro.
have the option.
Yeah, call it the Pro Series or something like that, and sell it for more. And
I agree.
I think people would buy it.
Now, here is, I think, the biggest negative to the plastics. And that is, plastic models are not produced in-house by PP. And that, I'm not particularly worried about things like, the QC, the quality control, or anything like that. But what it is going to eventually kill is PP's ability to send out bits. Because they do not do bits for plastic. They only do bits for metal.
Well, and that is a huge deal.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, especially from the modding community, that's how we modify our minis.
Yeah.
So anyway, PP, if you're listening, we know you aren't. Pro Series, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for the overpriced, we'll spend an extra 20% to get the just a short run of metal minis done. You do them in-house, so just keep one bucket of molds around and do it that way. Okay, finally, we're going to leave that behind. I want to quickly touch on, they removed the release schedule from the website this week. Rumors abound that they've done it because they can't basically meet their release dates regularly, and if they need to change it on the fly, they don't want all of us huge snot grubbing fanboys yelling, where's my Growlar? Any thoughts other than that kind of sucks because I don't have a quick place to go?
I think really that's the long and short of it, is that we don't have a quick way to access it. This information is still going out to retailers, because retailers need to be able to do pre-orders. Yeah. So it just means that we're going to have to type in Wayland Games instead of Privateer Press and then do a search.
Well, it's funny though. I think it'll actually lower their traffic, because I tell you what, I go there at least twice a month just to see if something's shown up new on the release schedule. Also, the only other thing I find about that is, if the release schedule has become so flexible, then we can't get excited about models the way that we just don't. Like, we get that book, you get super excited, and then you're waiting for the release schedule so that you can get even more excited. Now it's just like, oh, maybe it'll show up. All right, let's leave that behind, guys. We're going to move right on to... This should be a relatively quick topic, but it's time for a little...
Rip from the forums!
We're going to talk about sprays. And so, Rip from the forums, the reason why this is a Rip from the forums and not a focus topic is that it came up like 6 times this week on the forums. People asking about spray things, spray issues. How does sprays work? When does this work? How does this interaction work? And I realized very quickly that I misunderstand, as we just talked about. We were talking before the show. We briefly touched on something we'll talk about in just a second. And even I misunderstand it. And I friggin' play Cephalix, which is like spray.
All spray all the time.
All spray all the time. Spray City. I sprayed in your face. So let's start with George, PG Semi-Auto Magic. Give us a breakdown of the basics of how a spray works.
Well, a spray is a ranged attack, just like any other, but it has a couple of special things. One, it will have a range of SP on your card, and that will be followed by a number, either 6, 8, or 10. We have never seen a spray anything other than those distances. And that gives you the length of the spray. And the way a general spray works is that you will target a model. That model doesn't have to be underneath the spray template. You just pick a model that you can valid see. You lay down the template in a direct line from your base to the target. The small end of the spray template touching your base. Anything underneath that template, you then get to make an attack roll against.
Not one attack roll.
No.
You have to make a single attack roll against each, using either your magic score, if that's what you're using.
If you're using a magic attack.
Or using your ranged attack score.
Remember that basically the template is just there to tell you who's hit. It is a simultaneous thing. So if you're doing promotion or something, wait until everybody's dead.
Yep.
You're correct that you have to make an attack roll and a damage roll against each separate guy.
Yeah.
It's basically just saying, these are the guys that are hit.
Yep.
Now make an attack against each one of them.
Yeah, think of it as a flamethrower that's hit a bunch of things. It goes around everybody. The flames hit everybody within that spray. They all get hit, but you have to. Some of them duck dodge, get out of it. The important note I want to add is you have to center the spray template against the target. And I want to go back over that because more and more I see new players shift the spray template to try to hit as many things as they possibly can. It is not a facing thing. It is a targeted. You target one opponent. The spray gets centered on that one opponent. It's a bit janky because if you think about it, if I was shooting a flamethrower, I'd try to hit as many things as I possibly could with said flamethrower. But the way that War Machine and Hordes works is we center it. Correct.
Now, as I mentioned, though, the one thing you can do is say you have a cloud of guys in front of you, but there's a rank of, say, beasts in behind. What you can do is you can target something that is clearly out of the spray's distance so that you can catch the most guys. But always remember that you do have to have a target.
Okay, perfect. All right, Tim, give us a bit of detail on sprays for the new players out there. We talked a bit about it just a second ago. What is the one gotcha with sprays? When does it not work in specific to terrain?
In specific to terrain would be something we were talking about earlier is you cannot target something on the other side of a terrain piece, so you still need line of sight if it's on the other side of a house. And with that, if you target somebody on your side of the house, you hit him, and the spray template goes on the other side of the house, you still don't get to hit that person because they are out of your line of sight.
Exactly, and that qualifies for forests as well.
Yeah, so 3 inches into a forest.
3 inches into a forest.
Any kind of blocking terrain. Any time that they are not a valid target anymore, so they aren't in line of sight and they aren't under the template.
Important to note, though, this does not do not say, oh, sweet, if I'm hiding behind my huge base beast, you can't hit me with the spray. That is not true. It ignores models. This only applies to terrain.
That is correct.
And one thing we forgot to mention earlier is that one good thing about sprays is it does ignore the concealment and cover bonus. So if you do spray a valid target who's sitting in a forest or behind a wall, they don't get their 2+ or 4+.
Which is like 9 times out of 10 is if you got an option of a spray over shooting them in the face, the spray can generally be super awesome because you can just ignore that hill shit or that.
Yeah.
Not hills.
Not hills. I mean
walls,
all that kind of
walls
jazz.
and forests.
A great thing about sprays is because it ignores models, you can do something like shoot a caster on the other side of a colossal if you've got a spray 10 or something like that where you can, as long as you can get the angle right, it'll ignore models quite nicely.
Now, I only want to give one more minute to sprays. I think we've covered everything, all the basics, and I think we've given people a good idea. The reason why we're talking about sprays, particularly because it shows up in the Cephalix lists, and because it shows up in Cephalix a lot, it shows up in Body and Soul, which is a common Crix list, although not as common after the errata, but we'll talk about that later. So sprays, and I believe a lot of Crix... Crix has a lot of sprays natively as well. A lot of things do, but the last and sprays are also useful against Crix because they usually have 800 Banes on the table, and you want to kind of kill them all. The last thing I want to talk about before we wrap this up is spray templates. There's a few different spray templates out there. There's the one that comes with the book. There's our favorite one, which is the Magnetized Muson Minis one. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Pretty much every company that makes miniature tokens for miniatures makes a spray template. And of course, there's the one that comes from Privateer Press. We talked about that a bit on the tokens and measurement show. PG Semi-Automagic. Give me some advantages and disadvantages to each one of those, and which one, in your opinion, is the best one to get?
I prefer, just to get the preference out there, I prefer the Muse one because you can break it down into the different sizes. So it has a 6-inch, and then it has an 8 and a 12-inch section that magnetized to the end of it. The big benefits of that over the Privateer Press one is you don't give away extra information.
Right.
With the PP spray template, when you put it down, even though you can only shoot the, say, 6 inches, the full 10 inches is laid out there for both you and your opponent to see.
Yep.
Now, maybe you want that piece of information, but then again, maybe you don't want your opponent to have that piece of information.
Information
So
is king.
just having the smaller measurements, it also makes it significantly easier to stick in your bag. Now, the downsides are, of course, the price. They are more expensive than the standard PP ones.
Oh, they've got little magnets.
They do, and they're multiple pieces, which is more cutting. And I think they're actually a little bit thicker. And they are also they're harder to get your hands on.
Yeah,
Like,
you have to
everybody's
have,
gonna have one of those.
You have to have a store that sells them,
Yeah.
or
order them online.
Tim, do you have any spray template preferences or warnings or anything along those lines?
I'm actually going to take the opposite side of that. I personally don't like the Museum Mini ones just because after every level it gets that little bit of a lip that happens there because it's going on up. I know Broken Egg Games makes a set where you get 3 templates. You get a 6-inch, you get an 8-inch, and you get a 10-inch, and you just pick the one you want to use. I prefer them.
Okay, well there we go. I'm going to say the only thing I'd like, I haven't used the new egg ones, or Broken Egg ones. I've used I love my Museum Mini one, but and because the other thing that's nice about it is it fits into a little token box a lot easier because you can break it down and fold it up. The one thing I will warn against with the Privateer Press one, it's awesome, does a great job as long as you don't care about your opponent seeing your measurements, but it comes with this little widget that you can stick in it. You'll see it. It's like one day you'll discover it, be like, oh sweet, if I stick this in, now the spray can be on the ground and spray over everything. It's kind of interesting, except that then you try to pull it out and it snaps one of the 2 or both prongs off of your spray template, making your spray template completely useless. So just don't do that. Don't stick the widget in the hole. I know you want to.
It is a natural urge.
Yeah.
One other caveat, we did mention that there is a spray template in the back of the book.
Yes.
Be aware that because of the printing in different countries and printing at different times, that spray template may be up to, a quarter of an inch wrong sized.
Yeah.
Always ensure that whatever spray template you're using is actually the right length.
And I think they actually describe what the lengths it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move right off from that. It's time for focus. That's right. We needed some focus after that. We've been all over the place. We told everybody that this was the Crix episode. We're only going to be able to dedicate 40 minutes to Crix talk.
Ugh. Not sure if we have enough time.
I don't know. It's so we're probably not going to get to everything today. Actually, it's Crix. We'll get to everything. They're not that complicated. All right. So let's start with Tim. What is it about Crix that appealed to you that got you into the faction in the first place?
Well, I started out playing War Machine about 3 years ago with Scorn and played them for about a year, and then there wasn't any Crix players in our area at the immediate time, and so I decided to switch to them to kind of be the only Crix player in the area. As what it appears to me, I enjoy the casters that they have, the debuffy thing, and in other games I've always played sort of the horde kind of faction where I have a bunch of dudes, so they kind of naturally became the next step. Awesome.
All right, so I'll point this question to you because I don't know if the rest of us can really answer it succinctly. If you were presenting Crix to a new player who's never played Crix before, how would you give us a basic overview? How do you describe that faction, and why would I want to play that over anything else?
So the main draw to Crix is like I said, they're a dude spam. So most Crix lists that you will find involve a large number of infantry. They are very hard-hitting infantry, and most of them are melee-oriented. Their whole shtick is to run across the board and hit stuff really hard. On top of that, they try to do the reanimation game where If you start killing some of their stuff, they just keep coming back and getting more things.
Right.
The other big sort of caveat to Crix is their debuffs. I think most casters in their roster have at least one debuff, if not more. If you think along the lines of P. Denny, including her feat, she has 3. And what they try to do is to make your guys less good at killing your stuff, so you can get in and destroy everything on their side. So that's Crix in a nutshell.
Do you have a question for Tim there, PG Semi-Auto Magic?
So we tend to have set types of lists in War Machine. Can Crix do all the sort of big 3?
If you tell me what the big 3 are, then
sort of the dude spam, the big heavy armor cracking, and then the control. Because those are the 3 kind of lists that you'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. So for a heavy infantry, a dude spam list, they do really well. They have a lot of cheap units. If you think of Mechanothralls, maybe something along the lines of Terminus, where he gives tough to all of his undead infantry. So you bring 30 Mechanothralls and then a bunch of other stuff, and so you can just spam the board with tough undead infantry. Most of their stuff is heavy armor cracking. If you think of Bane Thralls, Weapon Masters, POW 11s with a -2 armor debuff, they can crack armor pretty trivially. And Mechanothralls also have a POW 15 combo strike. And then control, if you look at casters like P. Denny, who can control the board at the other side, E. Denny, if before the nerf. What they can do is lock down a few key things and stop your opponent from getting to zones. They used to have a number of great options for doing that for some warjacks like the Warwitch Siren and the Pistol Wraith, but now, as everybody knows, that's kind of gone as well. So Crix is in an odd spot. If you like to do the control stuff, they were probably your number 1 pick. Now they're kind of lower on that as well.
Do they have a you don't see high level Crix players, at least not in my experience, doing a lot of not beast bricks, but jack bricks, so to speak. Do they have a jack game at all?
They have jack game and jack casters. The problem is Crix jacks across the board are pretty squishy. If you link at the Slayer chassis, they're 13-17, so they're not great on armor, and they're a little bit higher on defense for most stuff. If you look at the Crabjack chassis, they're 12-18, so again, not that great on the heavy armor stuff. The heavy jack list, you're basically going to see Morton Abra, and her whole game is more of to try and kill you than to take a beating.
Right.
Crix is not the faction if you want to hold out as long as you can with your minimal army.
So if you're getting into War Machine for the big giant robots, Crix may not be your first go.
No, if you're starting with Crix, jacks are probably the last thing on your shopping list.
Unless you're a newbie and that's what you go out and buy.
Now, we say that, but there are some of the better character jacks, I think, in the game are hiding in Crix.
Absolutely. If you look at the Death Jack, he is, as you said, he's probably one of the best in the game, in my opinion, as a character. He's 12 points, but he can shoot your spells, and Crix casters have some awesome spells on their card. And he gets souls, and he starts with 2 focus every turn, so that's usually pretty good. And then Nightmare isn't too bad for a 10-point Jack, especially with any of the 3 Dennies. He gets stealth, so he doesn't get shot off the board, which is most of the other Crix Jack's problems.
And both really cool-looking models.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next question really is, then this is for the new players out there, and we sort of going to pick your brain on this. I bought the battle box. What do I like? And that's this question comes up daily on Reddit. I am new to Crix. I bought the battle box. What do I buy next? So, in your opinion, get us to 35 points, 50 if you can. What do you go out and buy, Tim?
So I'm going to take two sort of caveats here. If you're a brand new player, you don't have any War Machine models, I'm going to tell you one way. If you have models, you get P. Denny in the battle box, so I think a Merc heavy list is great with her. So if you have Boom Howlers and Nis, you can make a pretty solid list with her, with those, and you can make a really good gun line to make them shine. If you don't have anything and you're starting off new, if you buy a unit of Bane Thralls with UA, because they're a big staple in their list, and they hit hard, and Denny with Crippling Grasp and her feet can make them hit at mat effective 10 and POW a billion. Then some Blood Witches in the UA, which is my personal favorite unit in Crix. They are fast. They can hit hard, surprisingly hard. They have 2 attacks, and the Blood Witch is a really great solo. If you bring a Scarlock Thrall, again, another solo that is great with a lot of Crix casters because they can cast one of their caster spells. Wraith is another staple in their list. Helps them move a little bit quicker and protects against living models. And then a War Witch Siren is a good all-around. She has a solo, she has a spray, she has seduction, and she has her weapon causes Shadowbind, which isn't as great anymore, but it can be a little bit helpful in some situations. So with all of that, that's 35-point list. I did my homework and did that. So with the battle box, Bane Thralls, Blood Witches UA, Scarlock Thrall, Wraith, War Witch Siren.
There you go. And those are all units that are going to come up later in play, so you're not wasting your money.
Absolutely. Everything in there you will use 100 times over.
Perfect. PG Semi-Automat, you got a question for Tim?
Yes. And this is one that comes up way too often. When you are a new player and you have a Crix player in your meta, you are going to get beaten by the Crix player a lot. So how do I stop immediately losing to a Crix player?
So I think a lot of that starts at your list building. Most people try and do an all-comers list, and to be honest with you, you can't really do that against Crix. I think you need a more specialized list to take them on. So the big thing is starting with magic weapons. So they have some undead incorporeal stuff. Like I said, the Blood Witches in the UA, their mini feat allows them to be incorporeal to return. So having some ways to either turn it off, like the trolls with the Krill Stone, or having some magic weapons with Iona and Holt is always great. And then you really need some Dispel in your list. So if you have Purification or Repudiate, or even just a solo that can remove spells, or if you're in Menoth spell ward stuff, having that in your list will really help a lot. In general, what you'll want is some guns so that you can take out the first line or two. Crix seems to have a very predictable threat range on most of their heavy hitters. Bane Thralls are only speed 5. With Tartarus, they can only charge 10.5. Mechanothralls you're looking at 9.5. So if you can stay that far back, kill off the first line, they can't get to you, then you shoot them again. You can really get some damage done that way. And the other thing you want to do is focus on their high-value targets. So that means you need to start pinging off the Bane Thrall UA, so they're no longer tough and they don't stand up for free. You got to kill Tartarus, who is a great solo who will do you a lot of damage if he's on the board for too long. And some of their Scarlock Thralls. If you can pick out those, Statixis Raiders, you got to kill the Blood Witch before you kill the rest of them if you're shooting. Killing those high-value solos, UAs, will help you out in the long run because they really make the rest of the army tick.
Right, and a lot of those, Tartarus, for example, if he gets into range with the Banes, you're kind of boned at that point, from my experience anyway. So
yeah.
If you can take them out early. Now, just to throw this in, it doesn't hurt to have some AOEs or something that can ignore stealth. Correct?
Absolutely. So a lot of Krix casters have occultation, and Bane Thralls have stealth inertly, and the Blood Hag has stealth. So having something to ignore stealth is great, and then sprays and AoEs can really start to ping them off. Also, anything with fire, if you can't kill them on the turn, on your turn, how about you kill them on their turn? So,
yeah. So I think I think that's some solid advice for anybody, and I kind of want to I want everybody to go back and listen to that one more time, because I don't think that's just a new player game. I think the amount of times I've seen even good players hit the table and go, "Ah, shit, I can't hit anything because they're all stealthed right now." That can really hurt you. And the magic weapon thing, I truly believe that even in all comers lists, you need to have something to deal with those two situations for any faction, but Krix in particular. So the next question is, moving off new player advice, let's talk a bit about the current tournament lists we're seeing. You know, I'm not saying everybody plays the same lists in tournaments, because that's becoming more and more untrue, I find. I think more and more of us in the tournament scene are playing some variety of lists because we're getting sick of everybody playing the same lists. But going back to it, what are the common lists that you see right now, and tell me why?
See, we're in a really weird time with Krix right now, and that's because of the recent errata. We haven't had a lot of major tournaments in the last little while. So we had the WTC, which was, as we know, played with the errata in place, but the lists were made before the errata came out. So everything in there is, we saw a lot of Edeni, which I think come this weekend when we see War Machine Weekend, we won't see her at all, I'm going to say. So coming up this weekend at War Machine Weekend, I'm really interested to see what people are doing and what some new stuff we can see from Krix. I think the three main stars you're going to see are Scar 1. She makes her army hit more accurately with Dark Guidance, and her feat makes them a little bit more resilient and hit harder. She's just a main all-around good caster in general for a Krix all-comer, so I don't think she's going away anytime soon. I think Denny 1 is going to have an upswing this weekend, with Denny 2 taking the downswing. She does everything that Denny 2 did, but better. She can't really stop everything in their tracks and just win on scenario like Denny 2 could, but she really can put some debuffs on there, and she's a really solid scenario caster. And then, of course, Lich 2, who is your basic dude spam list. He's not going anywhere at all. So no. I think those three are definites. But like I said, it's going to be interesting to see what's coming up. As for me, I've been playing. Last weekend, I played at a tournament in your guys' area, and I brought a Scar 1 list and a Gorshade 2 list. So that's what I've been playing lately.
Anything from the boards there, Maelstrom? What's going on over there?
Oh, we're just discussing some Krix lists.
Okay.
Things to pop up against them.
What kind of things are being thought about over there?
Well, not a whole lot, really.
Okay.
We're just chatting.
Tell those bastards on the board to
man.
start getting in, man.
We got our own thing going on.
Oh, sure. Okay, which is why you all need to tune in live so that you can be part of their own thing going on over there.
Special conversation.
I think they pretty much just talk about what porn channel is on in Fallout 4. Okay, so the next so to go back to the tournament lists, those sort of common tournament lists. Most of us won't have played against those. I mean, some of them we will have played against many times. But with, let's say, that switch to P. Denny, what kind of things does P. Denny fear us bringing in our lists right now, then? So
what does P. Denny fear? She fears anything that can kill her. She is pretty squishy in her own right. She's 16-14. She has stealth, so that helps her against the guns. But if you have something that ignores stealth and some high power guns that are boostable,
what caster could possibly have guns and ignore stealth?
There might be something on the ADR coming up.
Maybe coming up. I don't know. I've heard there's a good caster in Signar for that.
Right. Actually, this weekend was the first time I ever won against Ekane. I know. You and I played once.
Obviously, a substandard Ekane player. So,
but yeah, he's always very scary for a Crix player, mainly because I seem to die when I play against him.
Well, we talked briefly about what type of models you should be getting when you get into Crix, but what are some models that you probably should steer away for until you've sort of bulked out your army in Crix?
So I think for on the caster side of it, I think you should stay away from Witch Coven. They're a little bit harder in the sense that you have 3 solos to deal with. It's more of, if you're a new player, it's kind of hard to get your head around 1 Warcaster, let alone 3. And then on the bottom of that, you got Venethrax, who just isn't very good in general. And then Morton Abra, who's more of a Jack caster. And you should probably be staying away from the Jacks from the Kirk side. For the Jacks, I think you should buy DJ, Death Jack, and Nightmare, and then maybe put the rest of them besides the Arc Nodes on the shelf. You might be able to buy a Helldiver here and there just to get your Jack points up. Stay away from the Battle Engine. It's just not good. As for solos, you have I think the only 2 that I would say stay away from are the Bloat Thrall and the Overseer. I just haven't found them worth their points in general. And then for units, I would stay away from the Black Ogre boarding party, Blood Gorgers, unless you're playing one specific list. Cephalix are pretty gone now that Edeni is no longer in favor. And then the Revenant crew, which, again, I just would stay away. Anything else of that, if you can pick without those, is pretty good. I have most of the other stuff in my arsenal and swap them in and out regularly.
So the undead pirates are not particularly something that Crix really seems to be playing with anymore.
No, the undead necro pirates are stay away from the pirates. Stick with the chicks with whips. Stay away from the pirates. It's
fair.
Go to.
Yeah, that's really interesting, because I think you've mentioned a lot of models that new players gravitate to immediately. Undead pirates. Ooh, cool.
The Black Ogre
models, and I mean, the Revenant crew have their own way. I've seen online Tom Guan do something with the Revenant crew against Harbinger, because their special rule is that if you kill a model that isn't the leader on your turn, then the next turn in my control phase, I get to bring back all of the grunts that you killed. So I've seen a really cool thing where he used the Revenant crew grunts to figure out the line of where Harbinger's 20-inch control area is. He would move them, and they would die because they're in the 20-inch control area. And then he'd move another a little bit farther back to kind of figure out where that is so he can safely do that. I'm not going to say there isn't a use for them in some weird things, but I don't know.
There's some pretty damn specific uses.
Yeah, I need a coal mine or a canary for this particular coal mine. So I'll bring that unit.
I think a lot of people buy the Witch Coven early on because they're really beautiful, and I mean, if you like painting boobies, that has some fine booby painting going on. There's not as much cleavage and thigh on any other model in the entire War Machine. This is one of those things we talked about before, but I like to think that most of Privateer Press's stuff is not overly sexy. It's funny because I'd say that the sexiest faction, the one that has the most cleavage and high skirts, is the Undead faction, which is fucking bizarre when you think about it. When you kill somebody, they become sluts.
If you've seen the Dunian Newt, the Dunian Knot, pictures of that, they got some boobage going on.
Yeah, all right. So the next question is, now moving away from just things to buy and the Nooblish advice, and you can be really specific to the time we're at now because of the errata, but what is your advice, sort of just general advice for Crix players, other Crix players you've seen, the mistakes that they're making all the time? What's your advice?
So my advice for Crix players is spacing. You have to make sure your models don't die to, let's say, AoEs. So getting a good idea of how, using those blast keys to see how far they are away, and getting that eyeball of if I place one model here and one model here, if he targets this, it's not going to clip any more than just that one. So spacing is the big thing to protect your models, and that also goes to sprays as well. And the other thing is protecting your solos. In the other topic, I said that if you're against Crix, you want to kill Tartarus, the Bane, the Blood Witch, and the Hag, and a couple other things. If you need to protect those particular models until the time is right, they aren't going to live the entire battle. But if you can get one turn out of them that is money, then you're going to be okay.
Okay. Quickly. Banes. I think I think we all deal with it the first time we played against a Crix player, and we're like, fuck the Banes.
Yep.
Banes suck. Why does you has so many Banes? That ain't right.
Or more to the point, why do only 2 of a unit getting there able to do the work of an entire unit in any other faction?
Why does the Banes hit like Jack? We've already talked a bit about how to deal with Banes. We've talked a bit about some of the awesomeness of Banes. But let's really get into the nitty-gritty. If you're playing even a matched-up mirror Bane-to-Bane list, give us some advice on just dealing with Banes. And we can give our advice too, but we'll start with Tim.
Bane-to-Bane list. All right, that one's hard. I think I've only done it a few times where I haven't had a good angle, and that reminds me of a time when I played Bryn Holdstock at Southern Ontario Open. I had Lich 2, and I wasn't and because of the construction of that list is they don't have any living models for my Lich 2 to excarnate, create a Bile Thrall, and purge. If you do have that option as a Crick player, I think that's the advice I have, is to target their living models, create a Bile Thrall, and purge all over their Banes.
That's pretty sweet. I'll go first. I think that the best thing to deal with Banes as a Signar player is bring gun mages. Bring gun mages, and with the UA, obviously, you need the gun mages with the UA. There's just so many damn things that gun mages can do to Banes. And I think Tim's advice of dealing with the front line right away is the most important thing. If you let them get within that threat range, that, what is it, 9 inches, I want to say?
10 and a half, I want to say.
10
and a half. Fucking...
With Tartarus, 8.5 without.
Yeah, so 10 and a half with Tartarus, then your units are done. So deal with that front line. If you've got siege in your army, lay down those blasts, get rid of everything. If you don't have siege, then I hope you have Kane, and in that case, shoot all the things. And if you don't have Kane, you don't have siege, then you've got Haley 2 and just stop them from moving for a couple of rounds and deal with it that way. Because the big thing is you just can't let them get to you. And because once they get to that ranged line, you're done. So deal with them with the ranged line as fast as you can and have the right tools to do it. George, dealing with it as a COC player?
Well, with COC, your job is to put as many sprays into them as possible. If you've got the... I'm not wrong, Bane Thralls are POW 15s, right?
POW 15? No, they are...
Sorry, Armor 15.
Armor 15, yes.
Yeah, so... you want to put as many sprays as you can into them. TEPs are great for that. Secondarily, the small-based spray troops can be great because they're disposable. They're not going to give you anything to feed the Banes. Because they're small-based and they're inexpensive, but they will do lots with their sprays. Alternatively, if you're running something like Syntherian and you can get those hot-shotted AoEs where everything under the template is boosted, 4-inch AoEs where it's all boosted will eventually kill Banes.
Yeah, we're on a pattern here. Deal with the Banes, deal with the Merle, blow them up. Over to our Blight Makes Right player. What's your advice? You've dealt with enough Tom LaPense Baneless.
Yeah, my favorite thing to do is bring Saren and charge a Shredder in there and just drop a 5-inch AoE on those fuckers.
Yeah, that's solid.
That'll do it.
That'll do it. All right, and I think I will just reiterate this. If you can kill the UA,
Yes, kill
If
that
you can
UA.
kill the officer in UA, you've just made your life a hell of a lot easier. And there's nothing than like the look of Tim Harvey's face when you kill his officer in UA top a 2, and he just is like, oh shit, all that tough is gone. You son of a bitch.
I'm going to say that for a Crix player, that if you don't have your standard bearer 8 inches or 9 inches behind your other UA, you're not doing it right.
And don't forget, you can pick up that fucking standard. So try to, well, with an AoE, it may not work, but try to have somebody standing close to the damn the other one is, oh shit, there's nobody within 2 inches. Damn it.
Nobody would pick that up.
Last, I just want to talk about this briefly, and then we'll get to the ending of the show. But I think we're going to close out today with a bit of hobby advice, because I think the new Crix players, you just bought 300 Banes, and you have to go to your first hardcore tournament, where it has to all be painted. So you're going to, whatever the newest thing is. So let's start with Tim. What's your hobby advice for dealing with 300 Banes to paint quickly?
I'm going to say maybe not quickly, but to make it so that your mind doesn't go numb is to switch it up. So maybe paint 10 models of Banes, then paint 10 Statixis Raiders, then another 10 man unit of Banes, then Mechanothralls. Just so you aren't constantly painting the same models over and over again. That way you have a little bit of a change in the middle, and you can change your palette.
George, any advice for those that have to deal with 300 infantry is 300 infantry is 300
Yeah, no
infantry.
matter what. My general way of handling that is to not paint them. But if I was forced to, one thing that you can take a good advantage of are spray coat base colors. If you do not have an airbrush, Army Painter and a couple others make lines of base coat. So say you're going to have red armor. Because Banes are basically all armor and weapon, you can spray coat them with whatever your primary color is going to be, and then fill everything else in, and that'll at least get you a little bit ahead of the game.
And my advice is buy a really cheap, not a GW brush, but like a cheap brush from the art store, and learn how to dry brush. Because I would say the easiest way to paint 300 Banes, because Banes are actually relatively easy to paint, because you really only need about 4 colors if you're going to get into dry brushing. You need white for whatever bone is exposed, if there's any bone exposed. And you need a black base coat, and then you can dry brush the hell out of the armor on them. I mean, it's really... There's nothing mind crazy about doing silver dry brushing on 10 models. You can do that in 20 minutes a model. Once you get into the detail work, there will be some more difficult things in there, but dry brushing, watch a tutorial on it if you don't know how to. It's a pretty basic skill, and once you get as a more advanced painter, people will be like, dry brushing, we don't do that anymore. But as a new painter, learn how to dry brush. It'll improve everything. Also, inking and dry brushing combination can save you a ton of time. So if you've got a skull to paint, off the top of my head, I don't know if Banes have like exposed skulls. Do they? In the models?
Do.
Okay, so you paint the skull white. So here's the quick overview. You spray paint them all black for their base coat. Don't go too heavy. But a nice solid black base coat. Then you dry brush the shit out of them with metal. And then you paint whatever skulls are exposed white, or like a bone jackbone white if you're using the PP line. And then if they've got some leather, find a like a black brown, like umbral umber, maybe combine with a little bit of black, paint that on, and then ink the hell out of it. Try Agrex or Shade. It works really, really great for that color. But there's also the armor wash from the PP line that will work great on the blacks. But that is going to just make your life so much damn easier than trying to detail paint every single one of those models. Any advice from you over there, Maelstrom, on quick painting units, particularly things that are black and silver?
Just dip them in wash.
Get the big bucket. Dip and flick, as they say. I did, to be honest, I did all of the, I did 6 units of dredges over the course of 2 weeks, and I dipped and flicked. I'm going to admit it. tout myself as a really good painter, but by unit 60, I was like, fuck this noise. They're going to dipped in some wash. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to move on. It's time for
The lightning round.
10 of the toughest questions in War Machine.
Clench your butts.
That's right. Clench your butts. If you've never played the lightning round before or know nothing about it, if you're watching the stream live, you can answer the questions as you go. By the time you answer, we should have already answered because we got about a 15-second delay on the show.
Yeah.
If you're watching it and if you're watching it on YouTube or you're listening to our stream, feel free to comment on the stream if the questions were too easy or too hard. If you comment that they're too hard, I will call you princess and laugh at you. If you comment that they're too easy, then I want you to start making the questions because I thought I was being pretty tough. And the way that this works is for the people that are actually on this show, to answer a question, you need to buzz in. If you don't buzz in, you gotta go. That's the buzz in. If you just go and answer the question as loud as you can, then I wait for the person who buzzes in to just repeat your answer, and I laugh at you and I call you princess. All right, ladies and gentlemen, question number 1, and of course most of the questions tonight will be a little bit Crix based, just so you know that. But question number 1 is, what faction can field a basilisk drake? George.
Scorn?
Scorn is the answer. That's 1 point for George. That was your gimme question for the night.
I assume so.
Yep. So, question number 2. How far away can Deathjack cull souls? Tim Harvey.
It's 2 inches.
It is 2 inches. So, note that, everybody. If somebody's culling souls from across the board from
Everybody got
Deathjack.
scoring on the first one.
That's good. That's good.
Good job. Good God.
He doesn't
Good
even
God.
need to kill
Good-
the thing. It
good
just needs
job,
to be
guys.
2 inches.
It just needs to be within 2 inches, and nothing needs to be closer that can cull the soul to
Friggin'
the dead
Andre.
thing.
Mark Andre's he's answering.
Oh, Mark Andre's on the board
Yeah,
just
he's-
giving the
yeah,
answers?
yeah.
All right. What is the name of Terminus's
Silence.
melee weapon?
Eh.
Tim Harvey.
He has a claw.
He does. But his hand
He has a claw.
that has a name and it's not claw, but his personal weapon is called a Doomsayer. Doomsayer. Note that.
It's not like the axe named sword.
No. This is Doomsayer. All right. Question number 4. What is the speed of a mechanothrall?
Oh.
Oh, that was tight. I will give it to Tim, though, just because
It's 6.
it is 6. It is 6. Very good. Question number 5. P plus S of a Bane Knight's Bane Lance.
It's
Tim Harvey.
11.
It is 11. You are kicking ass on the correct
11.
question. But I thought I might confuse somebody with the 11 because it's higher than normal for a weapon master, but it's lower than anything that's not a weapon master. It's a weird one. All right, question number 6. What? This is I'm trying to like channel Minty on this one.
Oh, no.
It's not super hard, but I'm trying to word it the way he would word it. So, what is the maximum movement of a Wraith engine per turn, assuming no other models are affecting his movement?
That was the most unsure buzzer
Tim.
I've ever heard.
10?
Ah, no. 14 inches.
Oh.
He has a base movement of 6, which gives him a 12-inch run. Yeah. And he gets to apparate at the beginning of the turn, so he would get an extra 2 inches for the
Congratulations,
apparation.
There you
Mark
go.
Andre.
See, I told you not to buy it, so I have no idea.
Yeah, you have completely wiped all knowledge of that model.
That's right, yeah.
Not useful.
If anybody
Yeah.
in the chat get that
Doesn't
one right?
exist.
Mark Andre got it.
Mark
Of course
Andre's
Mark
got it right.
Andre
Of course
got
he
it
got it right. Question number 7. What is the effect of being undead? Explain it as it would be written in the book.
Well, first, you're
Wait.
not alive.
I did not hear a buzz. No, but when it's written in the book, like if you look up the undead type,
Oh, okay.
what are the caveats of being?
So,
George.
the undead bonus, because it's nothing but a bonus, means that you're fearless. Mm-hmm. And you are not alive.
You're not living, and you never flee.
Yes, being fearless.
So, being fearless.
Yeah.
The same effect as fearless, but different because
Yeah. Fearless and not alive.
not alive. Which
What about a
is
soul? Do you have soul?
Yes,
no.
you do.
Oh, you do have a soul, right?
Absolutely. This is something I actually looked into recently. Every model generates a set of souls when it dies. It's up to, a set of tokens. It generates a soul, it generates a corpse, it generates an everything. And
Unless
it's up to the things that can collect whether or not they can collect.
I thought some things don't generate a soul.
Nope, everything generates a full set of tokens.
Really?
But you'll find that most things that collect souls say, I have to collect from a living model.
Gotcha.
Right? It's not that they don't generate
gotcha.
the soul. It's not.
Must
it's
be
just,
from living.
There must be there.
Gotcha.
There has to be somebody there to pick it up.
Gotcha. Well, that suddenly makes sense. All right. Question number 8. Do the Mind Slaver and Dredges have combined melee attack? Warning, there are 2 points for this question. If you know... Tim Harvey.
They do not. The Cephalix Overlord grants it.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
very good. It's the Mind,
nice.
it's the Mind Slaver, Cephalix Overlord grants combined melee attack. So if you'd said yes, I would have given you 1 point. But you get both points. You are actually giving Marc Andre a run for his money. He's going to want to be on the show next week just
to
get his
and he's
points
like,
back.
well, you fuckers never just ask me Signar questions all day. All right.
Oh, Marco, you said yes. You just said yes.
Just 1
He didn't
point.
give the caveat. Just 1
I
point
beat
from
it
him.
once.
Yeah.
All right. Question number 9. Yet another rules question. So be ready on your buzzers, boys. What are the base rules for tough? George?
When a tough model is, I'm gonna get this wrong, boxed, you roll a d6 on a 5 or a 6, it is healed 1 point, and it is knocked down.
That is perfectly correct, sir. You
I
almost
got
had
it right.
You almost had it bang on from the book.
I wasn't sure which, like, whether it was boxed, destroyed, like, there's that whole stack.
No, destroyed is actually means it's removed from play.
There's that whole stack that happens, and I had to pick the right one.
You did pretty well. All right, so now for the Minty Fresh question of the week.
Uh-oh.
This is a weird one from Minty. I think he may be mad at us because usually he gives me a nice description of all the reasons why this is true, but he just gave me a single word answer on this one, and I have no idea what the caveat is. So everybody's going to have to go online tomorrow and ask Minty to give us details on this. But how many times has Madrak been in Caspian?
In Caspia?
Caspia, sorry. My spelling is terrible. Tim.
8.
8?
I don't know.
No. Maelstrom?
4.
George, you want to guess? Want to throw it out here?
5?
It's actually 3.
Is it
God
3?
damn,
Apparently it's
I knew it was
three.
either 3 or 5. So.
And what I want is we need Minty to be like, give us that. Well, the first time he was there was 1984 when he was fighting for his life. Okay, guys, that is actually it for the show. We are
We
a
do have a
little...
correction on the tough description.
Oh.
It's disabled, not boxed.
Oh, it's
There we
disabled,
go.
not
That's
boxed.
why I was
All
wondering.
right, well, it's always something.
Yep.
It's always something.
Thank you, people.
Yeah.
for
That's
telling
why
us
we
we're
bring you guys.
wrong.
Well, that's why we bring them along. You
Yeah.
know? We bring you guys along to tell us when we're wrong because we're wrong all the time.
It's a fact.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very much to our guest, Tim Harvey, for joining us this evening and giving us the way to kill his models because, I know lots of people who are,
I feel confident now.
yeah. Maelstrom's ready for the next tournament.
Bring it on, Tim.
And, of course, thank you, Semi-Automagic. And
Thank you for
Maelstrom
having
for running the board over there and
My
making
pleasure.
sure that all the people out there are entertained. Next time, people who
have me.
well, and let's get the people on the board. We're going to give you all the big heave ho to try to ask more questions next time.
Show up.
Yeah, and thank you very much for everybody on the board for hanging out with us.
Yep.
So there are 6 different ways that you can find us on the interwebs, starting with our Facebook channel. If you search for Moose Machine on Facebook, not the band, there is a band called Moose Machine.
Seriously?
There is a band called Moose Machine. We're not
We
the
gotta
band.
get them to do us an opening.
We should get them to do us,
can
or
we?
just get a song and rip it. I mean, we'll talk to them.
Yeah, we'll talk.
But if you look us up on Facebook, you'll find Moose Machine. We're there, and join the chat. Join the flow of information that is our Facebook page. Unfortunately, we've been a little quiet lately. I think everybody's a little busy at work. Maelstrom's been working on getting a new job, quitting his old job.
Yeah.
And Semi-Automagic is playing Fallout 4 at work, and I actually have work to do for once in my life. You can also find us on Twitch every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard or Eastern Daylight Time, depending on the time of year. I think we're in Eastern Standard right now, right? You can find us on Twitch. We are broadcasting every Wednesday. If we're not doing Death Clock, then you can join Maelstrom and George for one of their 50 and 50 games or one of a million other things that we fill that time slot.
Just to pimp out what's happening next week, we'll actually have Tim on again. Hopefully he will be joined by Oz, and they will be streaming a game to us, and then we'll be commentating on top of that and sending it out to all the Moose Machiners.
I'd like you guys to do it like
Mystery Science
Science Theater 3000 and have you guys just down in the bottom corner.
Oh yeah, we could totally do that. We'll
We'll
highlight.
we did it last time was fantastic.
Yeah, we'll highlight the thing behind us.
And it's always entertaining because to have announcers for a War Machine game can always be a little ridiculous. But
Especially when one doesn't know a damn thing.
yeah, exactly.
I don't make a lot of stuff
What you
up.
do, the trick is to just feed George questions. Like,
Yeah.
what's he doing now, George? What is that?
That's no problem. Those are legitimate questions.
We just diverged.
What the hell is that, George?
We've gone off on a weird tangent here. You can also find our YouTube channel. You can find all of the videos of our old episodes. You'll also get our 15 to 30 minute pre-rambles on those. Check those out. They're a ton of fun. If you don't want to watch an entire video on iTunes and see our ugly mugs, we do stream to both SoundCloud and iTunes. You can subscribe to the stream and you will get it the day after we broadcast. So the news will not be late. We get it up there. We get it up there fast. If you cannot find us on the internet,
You're doing it wrong.
then you can call George personally. His phone number is...
He will make fun of you.
He will make fun of you and tell
Mercilessly.
you to go buy a friggin' computer. Finally, George, do we have any events coming up in the area?
Oh, we've got quite a few. Well, the next one, I believe, is the... there's two happening on the same day. So if you can make it down to Kingston on the 21st...
Tim, will you be there?
I will be there, yeah.
There will be a nice tournament, so you can come and beat some cricks.
Yep.
Or if you have already signed up and you will already know that you're going to this, there is a three-man tournament or a three-man team tournament, I believe, happening in Montreal on the 21st as well.
Sweet.
And then for our local guys, the next tournament up is, I believe, December 5th.
Yeah. There's always a tournament going on in the Ottawa area. If come move here. If you're a War Machine player and looking for other War Machine players to live with, come move to the fine area of town. I think that's it. I don't think we have anything else to talk about.
That is it.
We know what next week's episode's going to be. Tune in, everybody. And thank you, guys, for joining me. Dice down.
Touchdown.
All right. Now we let the stream roll for a little bit to A, entertain the people in the chat, and B, to make sure that everything is cut off early.
Yep.
Right on.
That's awesome. Thanks for coming out, Tim.
Hey, thanks to you guys.
Thanks, Tim.
It's fun.
We were
So hopefully next week we'll have Oz and you guys will actually be playing a game.
Yeah. So I got to work it out with Oz and figure out the equipment and whatnot. But I'll probably just go to his place and play there. So,
Nice.
sweet.
and I'll make sure that he doesn't bring the white snowy map.
The white snow mat with the white primed models. God damn it.
What's that, George? I don't fucking
A
know.
lot of
I
his
can't
models
see
are now
it.
painted, but they're still painted in that off-white sort of color, so
Right.
it's still not going to work out.
Yeah.
Yeah, white on white, never.
Yeah, it was one of those things. It's like, well, when it runs, I'll know how far it's gone, so I can make a educated guess as to what it is.
Educated. Come on now.
What? I got a ret book. I can look this shit up.
Educated is a very strong word. Book learned.
Did you talk to Aggie, George? Are you bringing your equipment on in 2 weeks?
I haven't talked to her yet. My plan is currently to bring it down, but we will find out.
And I have like one more month. December now has a shoot in it, but I basically have a month and a half left of solid shooting and working, and then I should be able to start tournamenting again.
So will you be there for the one in December then?
No, I'm away in December, but January
Gone
on
December 5th?
I might be around December 5th, but with leaving on the 9th, I'm not sure I can convince the wife to. I'll ask actually.
Yeah,
Let's
you
see.
should ask now.
I should
because-
try.
There's always the last chance qualifier. How
But-
are you for points?
I don't know if it matters.
Oh, he's asked for points.
Yeah, I
But
think
what
I have
what
one.
you need to do is come to Canadian Shield at the end of January, and anybody who's on the stream from this area who wants to get in on it, the last chance qualifier is going to be at Canadian Shield. and it's the top 2 who haven't already qualified.
Wow.
So you can come in like 12th to this event,
what's funny is
and then still get into
I
the
think
tournament.
the only reason why I have points is because of that weird Phantom 2.
Fandom 2
The
basement.
Phantom 2 basement tournament that I did, where for some reason I won my first 3 games.
Yeah, just
And like then got put against Mark Antoine, who just friggin' raffle stomped me.
Oh, is that the day that you learned about Force Wall?
It was the day I learned about Force Wall, but what was also funny about that whole experience.
You can't do that.
Well,
You can't run.
You can't do.
run.
Yeah, I
shut
love
down.
gotcha moments. They're my favorite. No, but that was the one that was like really weird because Tom was my first one. So suddenly, I just crushed him. I killed all the things, and then my second game, I ended up paired against Tim, and Tim only lost because he forgot that old Rowdy had countercharge and could get Pathfinder. And it was like, oh god, I'm fucked. So I ended up with some points just because somehow I ended up in like
Fourth place or something.
like
Yeah.
that. It was ridiculous.
I'm coming to steal all your last place stuff.
Yeah. That's why.
You're gonna get a model painted by Ben.
Yeah.
Get yourself a spoon.
Yeah, you got to get yourself a spoon, dude.
Okay.
Yeah,
Alright.
you should come to the last chance qualifier anyway.
Yeah, well, I see what I can do, but as of January, I'll be gonna try to event a hell of a lot more, and I'll be playing Circle, so you don't even have to worry about Ekane hurting you.
No, I just got to worry about Bradicus. There you go.
Bradigus,
You know what?
Cormac too.
I'm not really playing Gradigus. My 2 lists that I want to take in are going to be Kruger and Chromac. I'm going to do Chromac 2 and Kruger pretty much solid. And
Mac 2?
yeah, Chromac 2.
Okay. And Kruger 2?
Yeah, Kruger 2.
Are you going to do ADR? Kruger 1's on ADR.
Yeah, I probably won't do. I won't bother. I'm never good at that anyway. I'm kind of like learn a list and get really good at it. That's kind of my way. We can stop. We can stop the stream. But
Bye,
yeah,
dudes.
Bye bye.
but the nice thing about Chromac is that he's a wicked solution for trolls right now. The current troll problem.
Are we clear?
No.